Wasabi gangsters. All right, I'm gonna jump into a book haul first because I got these broken binding editions of Malazan. Which, by the way, I have the Way of Edan and I have the Blood over Brighthaven, but they accidentally shipped. I guess my shop account was connected to my New Jersey address, which kind of sucks because I have Philip Chase's book out in New Jersey, which I have to go get, and then also Blood over Brighthaven. But I fixed that issue over on my freaking account, and we have Gardens of the Moon, which I'm really stoked about these editions, by the way. Oh, actually, first and foremost, they included this. I'm sure you guys have all seen it by now. Oops, dropped it. But this Jack Shepherd map, which he's doing my map for Mercy, Tears of the Fallen, or just Mercy in general in Maitland. And I'm just so stoked that he did my favorite series as map as well, which I didn't know when I first commissioned him. I just took Philip Chase's recommendation from his Edan trilogy, by the way. Go check that out. But yeah, so I'm really stoked about Jack Shepherd, that map. He did the map for Malazan, which is so sick. So we have the Gardens of the Moon here, which is an incredible input into the Malazan series, a good start. We have Dead House Gage, which is probably my favorite book, I think, of all time right now. Still, it's competing with Midnight Tides in the back of my head. This scene in particular, this character in particular, just beautiful artwork done over at the Broken Binding. And then this book, Memories of Ice, obviously is a chonker. And this scene, although not my favorite book in the series so far, I think this scene is my favorite scene in the series. And I'm going to read the quote on the back because it's about compassion. I'm going to paraphrase a bit about it because I think some of it, it's not really spoilery. It's just, it shows the beauty of Steven Erickson's style. We humans do not understand compassion. In each moment of our lives, we betray it. We know of its worth, yet in knowing, we then attach to it a value. We guard the giving of it, believing it must be earned. Compassion is priceless in the truest sense of the word. It must be given freely in abundance. And yeah, I mean, the freaking sprayed edges. Oh my God, that could change them. So sick. So sick. So that was my only book haul, I believe, for the week. I didn't pick up anything else. I still haven't gotten to, I'm going to talk about what I'm going to be reading. I haven't gotten to the rest of the gods yet. I'm still in the middle of Song of Achilles, and I'm gonna keep reading that, but I'm gonna probably mix it with the Disquiet Gods audiobook so I can finish that before my conversation with Christopher Ruocchio and Jake in 2 weeks. This Saturday, by the way, actually, let me announce, because speaking of Malazan real quick, I have a conversation with John Ramel from Ramel Broadcasting, Josh Reed's Books from Josh Reed's Books, go figure, and I believe Jake from Nerd Level Rising. There might be one more edition. I know I said this last week. I still have to email and confirm, but we're on Saturday, 4 p.m. live streaming here. I'm going to set up the live stream link for you guys by the end of the day that you see this video. We're going to talk about Midnight Tide, spoiler free and spoiler, just conversing about the themes, the story up so far. So if you haven't read it up to Midnight Tides, we're going to do a little spoiler free combo, but those guys are reading through the series at roughly around the same time I am. I'm only one book ahead, and I'm doing the Ian C. Esselmont, so they're going to surpass me in no time. So those conversations are going to be probably spread out a little further. So yeah, I also need to start reading A Fool's Hope. I probably will pick that up on audio here by the end of the week because I need to get into that as I'm continuing Disquiet Gods and to ride Hell's Chasm, which I am still a bit through. I think I've gotten probably 3 or 4 chapters, maybe 5 done since last we spoke. I've also made it to almost halfway through Disquiet Gods, and this story just keeps getting more and more amazing. I mean, both of the prose of these 2 authors, Janny Wurts and Christopher Ruocchio, I mean, they're in the top echelon of writing style. And in terms of appealing story, both are really appealing to me. I mean, we got to a climactic moment in To Ride Hell's Chasm, and that story is fascinating, and I'm actually curious to see how she ends up winding it up. It has like a lot of, summing it up is it has a lot of, not summing it up is probably the wrong word or words, but I'm very curious to see how this story ends because of how it's set up so far and kind of what they're working against. And then Disquiet Gods, same thing. Like the antagonists in this story are so ambiguous. We don't know who's who. We don't know necessarily what we're up against, but we know that Hadrian Marlowe, in general, actually, I don't want to say too much actually, so I'm gonna stop there. But anyways, Disquiet Gods, To Ride Hell's Chasm, my 2 current reads, loving them so far. I probably will try and pick up the rest of the gods. I know he has an audiobook out for Josh Walker has an audiobook available for the rest of the gods. It's a novella. So if you guys have probably 2-3 hours to kill, I would go check that out. I'd recommend it. I haven't read it yet, so I still recommend it. Check it out. It's always worth a shot. You know, novella, see if because it's a prequel to a series that he has, and I think he just announced a second book. I think that news is coming out in terms of the cover soon. So that is what I'm reading now, and that's it. And we're going to get into Prophet of Edan next, and A Fool's Hope. Those are going to be the two big reads, and then it will probably be Reaper's Gale, back into the Malazan journey. So in terms of like a TBR, you guys are in the loop now. So that's my reading journey in terms of the past week. So I will continue talking about now my writing. So if you're here just for the reading, please leave a thumbs up. If you want to hang out, we're going to talk about writing right now. Give you guys some updates as to where the story's at, book 1 and book 2. But otherwise, thank you so much for tuning in. Grateful you guys did. And boom, now we're moving into writing. So Jack Shepard, speaking of, exchanged some notes with him on a draw up of the map. Really, really stoked about that. I had some artwork done by Robert Trotia. I'm probably saying that wrong. Trotia. He's an artist. You can check him out over on Instagram. He did some work for Andrew Watson and his series that he's independently published. And Robert sent me something on Saturday. I put it up on my Patreon for the early look tier with the first art piece that I had, and I am so stoked to put that up to you guys for free in a month. I cannot wait for you guys to see it. I'm going to put it on my Instagram and put it everywhere. I love that thing. I love both the art pieces that I have done. So I'm really stoked for you guys to see them. It kind of is so crazy to see the world brought to life in the way that it is, and I'm genuinely ecstatic. It's so cool to see. I'm like showing it off. I'm a loser, but it's all right. I love it. And yeah. So in terms of the artwork, all that stuff, that's being taken care of. I've reached out to a few production companies for the audiobook. I actually ordered a mic and a mixer that I'm going to use for the preview prologue that I will be posting next in April once I get my proofreads back, which the proofreads are still currently being worked through. Things are going well there, making sure that it's clean and tidy for the advanced reader copies before it goes into another proofread for the final edition of the book. But the advanced review copies will be ready next month. I'll probably be doing some giveaways, so look out in terms of physical giveaways, and then I will be doing digital art giveaways as well. So if you're curious there, you can do that, or you can go over to the Patreon and check that out. There's some stuff about advanced review copies there as well, because mostly it's kept to reviewers right now. But I am reaching out to some people just in order to spread the word. I really want as many people as possible to read this book, because I love talking about the story and growing and exploring the world in my head through conversation, exploring the themes through conversation. All of these things are things that I'm looking forward to doing. And yeah, so book 2, I'm on chapter 21 or 22, sorry, of the revisions. So from last week, I did about 5 or 6 chapters. I tried to do a chapter a day. The chapters in this book, especially in the climactic moments, because we are about 50% through the book. I'm over 50% through the book in revisions right now in book 2. And these moments are freaking so epic. And there's a lot of things that I need to adjust, because there's some big things that changed from the initial writing of book 2 and going back through book 1 and making sure things make sense. And so there's some things that needed to be changing, characters that maybe didn't make it, and then needed some adjustments. So that had to happen. And then just climactic moments in general. The pacing is one thing in this book. In book 2, that I'm looking for feedback from alpha readers, particularly because it feels very, and I don't know, again, this is just me going through it. It's very breakneck. It's very fast. And then I said that, and then the next chapter I went into really reeled it back, which I thought was appropriate. So I don't know if it's like, you got your foot down on the pedal, and you're like, your eyes are peeled back and the wind's blowing in your face. And then you slam on the brakes. It's like, okay, oh, I needed that. I need to catch my breath, or, I need to make sure it's not too jumpy, but the, the pacing appropriately. I mean, a war breaks out, and it will actually shoot. Should I say that? Erase that from your memories. I'm not going back 9 minutes. A war has broken out everywhere. War's always war never changes. What's that from? Say it in the comments below. Yeah. So war's always breaking out, period. That's just always a thing that happens. War's a thing. Shit. Anyways, there's wars in fantasy worlds, right? I'm going to move on. You gotta, if you curse in front of a toddler, and I'm the toddler in this instance. Fuck. And I'm cursing. This is crazy. I'm just digging a hole here. Anyways, the word count right now is down to 181,000 for book 2 in revisions. From, I believe I started at 187. So I'm just, again, I talked about this last week with the editing and working through edits and how much I learned from Gracie, who did my editing, and then how much I learned from Dave Butler, who also did my editing. Just in terms of taking that and carrying it into book 2, it's so helpful. It's drastically changed how I look at a manuscript, especially mine, because I went through the first draft. You do the ugly first draft, you get it out of the way. As a pantser, I guess that's what I am. I wear pants, and I am a pantser. I wear pants. I don't pants people. That makes it sound like I pants people. I'm moving on. And yeah, book 2 should be done. I'm gonna try and finish the run through by the end of this. By the time I get my proofread back, my first proofread. So, and then I'm probably gonna start chipping away at the proofread before I get it back, just to make sure I'm working through those notes appropriately, while also trying to get like a page or two done of the book 2 revisions as I go. And the goal is finish book 2's first revision, go through another revision in April, and then by the end of April, begin drafting the third book. And in probably May, I'll send out book 2 for alpha reading. So if anyone's interested in alpha reading, even though you haven't read the first book, you can always let me know. I may make that a Patreon thing at some point. I'm not really sure yet about how that's going to work, because I like offering a lot of stuff on there for freebies. I do have a short story up there. If you haven't checked it out, go check it out. If you've somehow listened to me ramble for 11 minutes, go check it out. And if you haven't read it and see what you like, it's called Blood Rebellion. It's free. It's in the link below. Links below. It's in the description below. And then I also do a written update, which I kind of freeball that now. Like, I've kind of changed the formatting of how I do my written writing updates from these videos. I usually just ramble like I do now, but I do it on my phone, like in my notes, and then I post it on Patreon, which actually helps me. It kind of helps articulate things a little bit better for myself as well. And then you can see maybe some things I missed in this conversation earlier. You'll see it tomorrow morning at 9:30, and then you guys always see, or I guess tomorrow morning would be 3 hours ago when you see this video. So 2.5 hours ago. Anyways, I'm gonna stop talking. I'm a little tired right now, so that's probably what's different about me. Yeah, said probably a lot too much as well. All right, guys. Hope you have a great week of reading. I'm going to the ICFA conference, something Fantastic of the Arts. I believe we're meeting Janny, Wurts, myself, and Jake from Nerd Level Rising. The Red Company will probably be having a conversation announcement in the near future about something else. I might get some content next week with Jake. I may do my weekly update video from Florida, or I'm going to decide to film it Tuesday, which would mean that there's not much to update you guys on, unfortunately, unless I happen to finish a book between now and Tuesday. So yeah, just a heads up for next week. It's going to be probably either a little wonky or a different setting, and I won't have my lightsaber mic in. I'm sorry in advance. I know how much you guys love this thing. I mean, I do. It's Darth Revan's lightsaber. What's there not to like? One of the greatest characters in all of fiction. Period. Anyways, said that a lot probably too. Thanks for coming, guys. I'll see you next week.